Okay guys, Mr. Wynn here. I can differentiate between structure and function of organic molecules, and this is our final learning target. So as you can see here, Mr. Wynn has tried to draw these molecules. So I was les artistes, which is French for artist, which I have no idea if that's true or not, so don't repeat that. Alright, and of course Julia would be very upset if I tried to speak French. This first molecule that we see here is going to be your nucleic acid. The reason why it's going to be your nucleic acid is because you're looking for P's whenever you talk about nucleic acids. So you're looking for this phosphate group. Okay, so with this phosphate group, this should be a clear indication that this is a nucleic acid. Then we also have our 5-carbon sugar, and then we also have our nitrogenous base. So you can see that the ends here indicate that this is going to be a nitrogenous base. And remember, that nitrogenous base are going to be your A's, your T's, your C's, and your G's. Now let's look at this other big structure here. So this other big structure, you can see the R's. Okay, so we have one R here, we have one R here, and then we have another R here. Now, on your test, it's actually a much larger molecule, but I went ahead and just did one side because, again, not the greatest artist. So, you can see that this is a protein because we have this R, we have this carbon, we have this hydrogen, we have this nitrogen, and then we have this carbon that's double bonded to this oxygen. So, what you see here is that you see amino acids. So this right here, okay, this right here is going to be an individual amino acid. This right here is going to be an individual amino acid. And this right here is kind of an incomplete amino acid. I just stopped because we had enough R's. But again, proteins are made up of amino acids. Here is our water molecule, and as you can see, the oxygen has the negative, the hydrogen has the positive. That wasn't required, but you know, sometimes I go a little crazy and I get a little bit worked up. So this is going to be your water molecule. This is your carboxyl group. So remember, with your carboxyl group, you're going to see this in two different organic molecules. You're going to see this in not only fatty acids, but you're also going to see this in amino acids. Now, all we have left, okay, are your 3 monomers. So, if you look at the remaining 3, can you tell which one is our amino acid? Well, if you said the one on the bottom here, you would be right. So this one is our amino acid. Now, it looks a little bit different on your test because I went ahead and drew in the C's to kind of help you understand why this is an amino acid. So, this is an amino acid because we have our carboxyl group, we have our nitrogen, we have our oxygen, and we have our R group. So, the nitrogen should have been a dead giveaway, as well as the carboxyl group. Okay, but remember, fatty acids such as this one here, and carbohydrates, such as the one here, do not have your N. Okay, so that's how you know that this is an amino acid compared to the fatty acid over here and the carbohydrate over here. Now, say for instance you didn't know whether one was a carbohydrate or the other one was a fatty acid, so you couldn't tell these two different ones apart. Well, this would be really easy to figure out based off of one thing that you're looking for. And you're looking for the number of oxygen atoms. So if you look at the one to the left, so this fatty acid here, how many oxygen atoms does it have? Okay, you should have counted 1, 2. So this one only has 2 oxygen atoms. Now, how many oxygen atoms does the one on the right have? So let's count the number of oxygen atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we know that there are 6 oxygen atoms here. We know that there's only 2 here. And we know that carbohydrates have a ratio of 1 to 2 to 1. So if we have 6 oxygen, we'd expect to see 6 carbon. And do we see 6 carbon? Yes, we do. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We also have 12 hydrogens, so this must be the carbohydrate, and this must be the fatty acid. Now, on the matching at the bottom, you had to decide which substance was either a protein, a lipid, a nucleic acid, or a carbohydrate. Now, if you're looking at carbohydrates, then you're looking for glycogen, you're looking for starch, and those are the only two carbohydrates that are on the bottom. Now, if you're looking for proteins, enzymes are proteins. Proteins are held together by peptide bonds, and enzymes also end in ASE. So you have 3 of them that are going to be proteins. Nucleic acids are going to be nucleotides, which is the monomer of a nucleic acid, and also protein production. So in the earlier video, I talked about RNA and how RNA will actually bind onto DNA in order to make protein. So protein production is letter C. And then your last one is going to be wax. Now, waxes are lipids, so they're going to be waterproof, and not only that, they're going to have this long hydrocarbon chain as very similar to what you see in fatty acids, but the only difference is that there's an alcohol group. So again, just to recap on the matching at the bottom, glycogen and starch are both carbohydrates, enzymes end in ASE, and peptide bond are proteins. Nucleotides and protein production is nucleic acid, and wax is a lipid. So this concludes all the learning targets that I've gone over. If you have any questions about the learning targets, please don't hesitate to ask or email me. Thanks guys for watching this video.